We all know the image, right? Christopher Reeve as Superman, soaring through the sky. But what's fascinating is behind the hero, the one we thought we knew, there's a story even more incredible. And that's what we are doing here, taking a deep dive into Christopher Reeve's life. And guiding us is this incredible article about the new documentary, Superman. So get ready, because we are going to uncover the layers of meaning, stuff that goes way beyond the suit, beyond the cape.
Yeah, what's so interesting is how this documentary really digs into those deeper layers because you have, on one hand, Superman, this larger-than-life symbol of hope. But then you have Reeve's own life taking this sharp turn and becoming a totally different symbol, but a powerful symbol nonetheless.
It's like his life story became kind of a reflection of that classic hero's journey. When you
Yeah.
think about Superman's origins, right? Sent to Earth as a baby, um,
Right.
raised in this simple rural setting, only to discover these incredible powers within himself. Like, it's a story we've seen play out for centuries. I mean, look at mythology and all that.
And you know, you can't forget the fact that Superman was created by two Jewish men, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, right? I mean, especially during that time period, like this whole idea of a hidden identity, strength coming from somewhere you'd never expect, and then persevering when all odds are stacked against you.
Yeah.
Those themes, I mean, they resonate deeply with the Jewish experience. What do you say?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it adds another layer to Reeve's story, don't you think? Because it was the 78 Superman film that really cemented him as the Superman. Like, for a whole generation, he was Superman. And he became the symbol of hope, of strength. I mean, few actors ever really reached that level.
Which makes everything that came after so much more
Oh,
powerful.
you're telling me? Because that's when things take a turn. And they go from the comic book narrative into something real, something raw, something human. And then 1995 hit. And I mean, the whole world just watched stunned as the snooze breaks. Christopher Reeve, seriously injured. And then it comes out. Paralysis. It's hard to even grasp that shift. I mean, the symbol of superhuman strength facing that reality.
Yeah, it was almost like a wave of disbelief, Like, how could this happen to Superman? It felt so wrong. It felt like, honestly, like one of those tragic comic book plots we see sometimes. But this was real life.
Almost impossible to ignore that kryptonite metaphor, wasn't it? Like, even Superman, he's got that vulnerability, that one thing that can bring him down.
It's true. And here's the thing, Christopher Reeve, he refused to be defined by that narrative. Of course, there was grief, there was the struggle, but he didn't let it be the end. If anything, it seemed like he found another level of strength, like a new purpose in all this, speaking up for himself, but also for everyone dealing with spinal cord injuries.
He could have just retreated, stepped away from public life completely, but he didn't. He used that platform, shined a light on a whole community that so often gets overlooked.
Exactly. And it went way beyond just words. He and Dana Reeve, they co-founded the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation, and their goal, it wasn't just about the research. Of course, finding treatments and hopefully someday a cure for paralysis is vital. But it was also about right now, improving the quality of life for everyone living with those injuries today.
That's such a key point. Not just how do we fix this, but saying, look, there's dignity in this life. There's potential here every single day.
And honestly, it wasn't always straightforward. The documentary, it touches on that tension. Seemed like Reeve wanted to walk again. That was personal. But at the same time, there was this message of acceptance that a lot of people in the disability community, they were pushing for. So it's
Yeah.
like, where's the balance?
Are you talking about that CGI commercial, the one where it shows him walking? I remember that caused a stir.
That's the one. Now, their hearts were in the right place. They wanted to show what stem cell research can do. But it kind of accidentally sent this message, like being disabled was something to fix, instead of just, I don't know, embracing life as it is.
Makes me think about that film he directed around then, too. The Brooke Ellison story. This incredible young woman, quadriplegia, graduates from Harvard. It's like Reeve was using his work to explore all these sides of disability, these really complex experiences. He looked at it from every angle he could.
And that says a lot about him, don't you think? He wasn't afraid of the hard questions, of digging into the nuances. And in the end, that's what made his advocacy so powerful, so authentic.
Speaking of complex, there's this whole other side to Reeve's story that I find really, I don't know, kind of moving, I mean, you can't really talk about Christopher Reeve without talking about Robin Williams, right?
Yeah.
That friendship.
Right, yeah. It's like their bond, it was forged back when they were both just starting out.
Yep.
Ambitious young actors studying at Juilliard.
Mhm.
They were even roommates. Did you know that?
No way! I did not know that.
Yeah, they were. So you can imagine that shared experience, all the ups and downs of trying to make it.
Mhm.
creates a connection.
No kidding. It makes you wonder what those conversations were like back then, huh? I mean, you've got these two incredibly talented guys, both kind of complicated in their own ways, and they're both navigating, what do they call it? The biz? It's rough.
Yeah. And this documentary, I think it handles this part well. You see those hints of darkness they both faced,
Hmm.
like mental health struggles, that kind of thing. But it's not exploitative. You know what I mean? More like it suggests they each gave the other strength, like a safe place in the middle of all the chaos.
It does make you think, though, like, when Williams passed so tragically, years later,
Mm.
did losing that connection, that support system, did that play a part? Man, it's just a reminder. Even the people we put on pedestals, even our superheroes, they need those deep human connections, just like the rest of us.
Absolutely. We all need that. People who get it, who can be there for the tough stuff and celebrate the good. And, speaking of legacies, Reeve's children, they've really stepped up,
Yeah.
carrying on his work with such passion. It's pretty remarkable.
It is. They took this awful loss and turned it into something good, raising awareness, getting funding for research, pushing for more inclusivity. You can tell the values that Christopher and Dana had, those were passed on. So, I mean, when we look back at Reeve's impact, what do you think is that lasting piece, the thing that sticks with people?
It's funny. When I think about Christopher Reeve, I think about how he changed what super really means. Sure, there's the physical strength back when he was Superman, but it became about something else, the strength of his spirit, never giving up, even when things were beyond hard. He challenged everyone's ideas of what's possible, showed us that real strength, it's resilience, it's being vulnerable, it's fighting for better, not just for yourself, but for everybody else.
Now that is powerful, and it's bigger than just movies, isn't it? It reminds us that all of us, we've got that potential for courage, for compassion. It's there inside. Well said. And for anyone listening, if you really want to dig into Christopher Reeve's life, go watch Superman. You'll see. His most important role wasn't on screen. It was how he lived his life, inspiring, pushing us to be better. And I think that's something we could all use a little more of.